Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Wounds to Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, George, and this is Bern.
So we're welcoming a wonderful friend of ours today, friend of the family, friend of my friend, has been in our lives for quite some time, and an integral part to our hair.
Yes,
our hairdresser, Cara. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I was actually thinking again on the toilet that
She does that a lot.
remember?
Yeah, you're getting that?
I do. That's where I got a lot of my
Yeah.
insights on the toilet. Holy dolly. Do you remember the day? I'm putting you on the spot now, that we were sitting there and we were chatting about something, and I said to you, "Oh, I feel something in the corner, and there's something's really."
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
And Coco came in and she was putrid.
Your Saint Bernard dog.
Yep.
She came in. She was scratching at the door. Remember?
Yep.
And it was just after you said, no, totally unrelated. And you never ever let her into the salon.
No.
And you let her into the salon, and I saw it. She went straight to where I said there was something there.
Yep.
And stood and stared, didn't she?
Yep.
And we were both of us just went. Yeah, I think you actually fell apart, and I was like. So to let people in on the story, it was actually the feeling of your how do I say that in a way that doesn't come across as
Cold.
yeah, I know, but it would, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? So you say it,
Oh,
because then I won't offend.
because I'm going to do the same. It's like, it's going to sound really callous when I say my dead husband.
But what else do you
sound-
call
I don't know.
him?
Like, I don't know.
that is it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Dearly departed
Yeah.
husband.
Yes, that's probably much more pleasant way to say it.
But it was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like, it gave you, and I didn't know what, I assumed that that's what the energy I
Yeah.
felt. But when she did that, it probably gave me one of the biggest confirmations that what I feel and what I sense
Yeah.
is friggin' bang on.
Yep, for sure.
And then for you to go, oh yeah, he's always around.
Yeah, because
No
I think
matter
we
what.
had actually just been discussing that type of thing.
We had.
We always said it anyway.
Yeah.
That it's hard to miss someone when you feel their presence all the time.
Yes.
It never feels like they're gone.
Yes. But I think that's something that you've always got.
Yeah.
No matter what, even though, the grief, I could only imagine, because I have never experienced it for a partner.
Yeah.
But the grief, I could only imagine that you would go through having 4 children as well.
Yeah.
In fairly young, what did they range when he passed?
It'll be 9 years this year that he's
will it
gone. Yeah.
really?
9 years next month.
Wow.
And so Harry's 18 now.
Holy
So he
dolly.
was, 11? No,
8.
9.
Eight.
God, can I add up?
9,
8.
yeah.
Thank you, Georgia.
So she's a brilliant
Yes.
hairdresser, just not so good on the math.
Sometimes depends on the day how my maths runs, and the eldest is just under 5 years older,
Right.
so they're all within 5 years.
So they were all pretty young.
Yep.
Yeah. And navigating that, I was actually thinking.
still navigating it, but anyway.
I was just going to say, I don't even have children, but if Joel was to pass, I would be a mess,
Yeah.
a wreck. He is my rock and my support system.
I honestly think that it's because of the children that I was able to hold it together, because
Yeah.
essentially that became my purpose. They were always my purpose,
Yes.
but it's not that I couldn't allow myself to grieve, because I always knew that would come and that would happen whether I chose to or not. But it was more that, I just have to get my shit together, because me losing it is not going to be the reason that these kids can't thrive.
Yeah.
yeah.
Their dad passing is huge enough.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to add to that by...
Also falling apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So
it
you
wasn't
did-
going to help anybody.
So you did what most people do. And
Yeah.
you said, she'll be right, she'll be right, she'll be right.
Yeah.
Pushed it all
It's
down
fine,
as
it's
far
fine,
as you
everything's fine.
We are so going to claim that saying, I reckon. That'll be our first merch. Those shirts.
Definitely.
Because that's what we do in the moment of crisis. Most of us will just bury everything just to put one foot in front of the other. And like, you know, you had 4 young children, you had a whole life, and I mean, I don't know whether you want to talk about what happened, or because to me, if we haven't dealt with death on the podcast yet, and I think it's a big one because most people fear the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
It is something that they absolutely don't want to think about, don't want to look at, and go through life trying to just pretend it's not there.
But it's
not happening.
also just not something that you would ever think that would happen to you. Like, to lose your husband, I would never think that would happen to me. Like,
Yeah, certainly not at that age.
No.
Like, I mean, all my visions of my future included both of us at a very old age together.
Yeah.
Like, it certainly wasn't going to be me at 43, a widow with 4 kids.
Yeah.
That was never in the plan at all.
Yeah.
So,
and like you, I mean, I can only imagine, but your support network, your family rallied. But not
for
just
sure.
your family. I remember seeing it on Facebook, and the community rallied. Because he was a
absolutely.
copper. He's an ex, well, he was a police officer. So the community rallied. Like they came out and they actually renovated your house.
Yeah, well, the house was literally falling apart. Like, we'd outgrown it. It was always something that, you know, it needed a massive amount of work. And because he passed at home, we left the night he passed. I left the house, basically walked out the doors going, I'm never stepping foot in this house again.
Yeah.
Because
Fair
as it
enough.
was,
Fair
Yeah.
when we bought the house, it was, we'll leave here 3 years, we'll do some work and we'll move on. Well, we bought the house like 25 years ago and I'm still there. But it sort of, we left and we went to my mum and dad's and we kind of stayed there. And as time passed, then it was like, okay, they say, you know, in grief and in big life changes, don't make any drastic decisions. So I was like, all right, I might need to just calm down. But then it was day by day. It's like, all right, I need to just go back and I need to sit in the space and I need to just see how I feel. Because, yes, I made that claim when I walked out because I was angry and I was upset and I was hurt. And, you know, all of a sudden, everything that I thought was my future plan was gone in a second.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, that canvas, holy dooly.
Yeah, it was just like, and it's not a breakup. And unfortunately, lots of people, and I know that it's only because they're genuinely, people try to
generalise it.
and touch on their own experiences so that they can have empathy and all the rest of it. But essentially, unless you've been in that exact position, and even that is different for everybody, a lot of people kind of look at it, oh, well, it's a breakup. So that's the closest I can imagine to losing. But the difference is a breakup is a breakdown of many things.
Yeah.
But there's still always, regardless of what happened, there's still the possibility or that there's hope that you might work it through
might
or
come
whatever.
back.
Even if you hate the
might
person. I
come
don't
back.
use hate a lot. Yeah, but, you know, you'll grow and you'll reconnect or whatever. But all of a sudden with death is the finality. Like there is.
He ain't coming back.
That's it. It's done. Everything that you thought was going to happen is gone. There is no new memories. There is there's nothing. It's just done in an instant. And it's very, very sobering because it's like, whoa, like, even though, you know, you go through life and you have goals and you do this, and that morphs and changes because as you grow or as you change and how situations change, your outlook and what you look forward to is different
and everything,
which stands to reason. But that's one thing that it's like all of a sudden, well, there is no option. We're never going to have another conversation. We're never going to do anything. There's never going to be another photo. There's never going to be another moment where we're together in this
How
earth.
did you navigate that?
Honestly, I look back now and go, whoa, I don't even really remember, to be honest. Certainly the first 3 to 6 months because it was right before Christmas.
Oh, God.
And it was the week before my second eldest, who was probably, they were all close. Like, they all jokingly say now, oh, I was his favourite.
Dad's favourite.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But my second eldest definitely had a very, very close connection. And it was like the week before her birthday, her 13th birthday. So that was going to be really challenging. And certainly Christmas. I do remember Christmas because I had to keep working. Because I needed to do something that was normal, that I could kind of get outside of myself.
Kind of grounded you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it still does. It is something that's always brought me back to, that is my outlet.
Yeah.
But I do remember Christmas working like crazy and just remembering my inner head, my inner talk was, I have to make this Christmas feel as normal as possible within the realms of what's like, there is nothing normal about this situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to, for the kids' sake, I still need them to feel the love that they would have felt every other Christmas.
So can I put this to you?
Yeah.
Because we've had many conversations about this. Knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
Would you have done that the same way? Would you have... Because you're a big one about feelings now and knowing that they need to be felt, they need to be...
Maybe not. Maybe probably knowing now. And I say this knowing how it played out. But certainly at the time I was just in survival mode.
Yeah.
Like there was... I was thinking, but I wasn't really
engaged thinking.
But definitely, probably now, if I could go back, I would actually just give them more of me.
Yeah.
Probably.
See, I only say that because you've learnt so much.
Yeah.
Like this was a cataclysmic learning lesson for you, and you've learnt so much about yourself and how to show up in the world in a completely different way, no longer being a part of a partnership.
Yep.
And that's been a big learning curve for you.
Yeah, and I think also, look, even though he had been for the large part of his life in the police force, but he wasn't in the police force when he passed. He'd had many other jobs, and even the leaving of the police force was not on his terms. So it did rock his soul, and it did change his outlook and many other things that went through that. So he had his challenges. In saying that, he got to spend then the time he spent with the kids, I would never change, even though personally he was going through a lot. But so even though I was kind of like, oh my God, how are we gonna survive?
So in your head, you knew you could support the family because you're already doing it at stages.
Yeah, I'm really good at doing a budget. But that's as far as it goes. I can do it and then it's never looked at again.
Or implemented.
Yeah, or definitely not implemented. I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal. And in saying that, it's worked for me my whole life. So when money comes, money goes. Money comes, and I've always managed to make it work when I've needed it to make it work. So I kind of knew at my core that I would find a way to make it work, but there was still that, oh my God, like we've got 4 young kids and a mortgage. How the hell am I going to do this?
Yeah, it would have been the shock of it all. Like you've got then no one to fall back on.
Correct.
You don't have that rock that you had before.
And when shit goes wrong with the kids, I can't blame anyone else but myself. There's also a little thought in there. It's like, oh God, now it's all on me. Like everything.
If I fuck them up.
Exactly. And that's it. And you don't know you fucked them up until well after the fact that you fucked them up.
I think you've done exceptionally well. Like, for someone as an outsider looking in, you probably, to the detriment of yourself and your own well-being and your own needs, gave above and beyond.
Yeah.
Like you probably overcompensated.
Oh, definitely. And I think I did it almost knowing that that's what I was doing. But
Yeah.
it was like, I'd rather give too much than turn
Then
around
fall
and
short.
go, oh, well, I could have done more and I didn't.
I think that's a natural response.
Yeah,
though.
I think so.
I think so.
Unless you've got veins of ice and a heart of coal.
Which is not you.
No,
so-
it's
But
not me.
you're not short on calling them on their shit either.
No.
Like, I think that's what I've always loved about your parenting style is that even though you're a free ranger,
Yep,
you like
definitely.
them to be able to free range
Yep.
and learn all the things they need to learn. You're still someone that, though, if they, I want to say fuck up, but there is no fuck ups. It's all lessons. If
learning.
If they need something put into context,
Yep.
you're the first one there to go, dude.
Yeah. And look,
Listen here.
there's definitely, as much as I still support my free range parenting, there are definitely times where it has bit me in the ass, and it's probably currently biting me in the ass right now with a particular child.
We won't name names.
But look, at the same time, I also went with, I don't think you can love someone too much.
Yeah.
Or have them know that they're loved too much. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't mean they're still going to make great choices all the way through.
I think it makes a big difference,
definitely
though, for
think
a
so.
child to know that they're loved
Yeah.
verbally, physically, and, externally, I guess, in that environmentally as well.
Never question that the core people around you, the ones that are meant to love you genuinely,
Yeah.
have love
Warts
care
and
for you.
all,
Yep.
everything. Doesn't matter what is going on.
It doesn't mean that I have to like you in this moment.
I don't like
your
the
behaviour.
but I love you.
Yes.
So, but massive lessons for you. Massive,
yeah, for sure.
Change in the way you live your life.
Yeah.
But you've got your youngest is now 18.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You made
I'm not
they're
legally
all
responsible
alive.
for any of them anymore.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Because now I sort of go,
I know, and I think too, like as much as you said before that to my detriment, I probably gave, I did sacrifice a lot of but I did that knowing
Yeah.
and genuinely, not because I felt I had to, I willingly chose to do that because I knew they need their mum. They need
that guidance
Yeah,
and
they
support.
do. And they will one day turn 18 and I won't legally, even though legally, whatever.
I was going to say, I'm 25 and I still seek guidance and support.
That's exactly right. But there was also that I'd never, ever wanted them to not feel like they could be honest and comfortable.
yeah. It's a good rule of thumb, though,
Yeah.
because that at least keeps the door always open.
Yeah.
Because no matter the fuck up,
Yep.
you'll always be loved here.
Yes.
We
Exactly.
will just not tolerate the behaviour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Great
And
rule
I
of
also knew that, my time will come. Like, the time will come where I've done as much as I can do.
Yep.
And they're a fully functioning adult. That doesn't mean that they won't still need their mum or that they, still need a roof over their head or whatever. But that I know that they can step out into the world feeling confident in themselves that they're capable of anything.
Yeah. I've always said to my girls, the door is always open.
Yep.
No matter what, it doesn't make any difference where you're at in life or what you're doing.
Yep.
You can be on the bare seat of your pants. Do not let pride keep you on the bare seat of your pants. The door is always open. Come home and ask for help. Don't be too proud to ever ask for help.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the times it didn't go hand in hand with the parenting style. For me specifically, being the oldest child, and I like to say
you're the guinea
I
pig.
was the test child. Yes, I
Yeah.
did all the things, and she tested all the things, and then you could clearly see the difference with
And
Chelsea.
you definitely pushed those boundaries.
She sure did.
Hey man,
These grows hairs, even though I paid a lot for them as well.
I am my mother's child,
Yep.
and
Oh, yep,
don't
for
tell
sure.
me not to do something. because I will do it.
Because even if I wanted to do it, now that you've told me I have to do it, I don't want to do it
I don't want to do
anymore.
it. No. But
The pushback is double, and I was exactly the
Yeah.
same. You push, I'm going to push back twice as hard.
Yeah.
and I think what I was going to say though is I think that message got a little lost along the way with me because of, I guess, where you were at in your journey
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
finding that, this child is autonomous and I can't
And those
control her. She's
boundaries.
going to make those
I
decisions.
can't give you those boundaries without you not pushing back. Like
Correct.
that is like, to me, in hindsight now, and I look back and think, you are just me. You
Yeah.
did exactly what I did to my mother. But now I know better. I can do better. So it's like you learn. Yeah, you're right. The first child is always really that test child.
Yeah.
You have no idea what the hell you're doing.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Now that your children are adults,
Yep.
and they may not be fully adulting yet,
They're playing adult. Yeah.
playing adults, it would free up, in theory, a lot more time for you. So what do you plan to do with that?
I'm literally at the point where, what does that look like? Like what?
Who am I?
Who am I? Who did I used to be? I mean, I know you're never the same version and you grow and, blah, 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 all that. You're always a different version of yourself from one day to another. But there is, for so long, my full focus has been just keeping a roof over their head.
Child
keeping them
rearing and
Yep.
breadwinner.
And
And possibly laundry.
Yes, and actively, like it used to not annoy me because it takes a lot to like rile me up. But when people used to say, "Well, what do you do for your downtime?" Downtime?
What downtime?
I've got downtime for downtime. I sleep, and that's minimal. But I don't know. I guess that there's probably a little bit. And this has literally only been happening in, like, probably since Harry turned 18, which
Yeah.
was only May.
Yeah, not that long.
Yeah, where I'm no longer, and I know I keep saying no longer legally responsible, but it's because I can throw that back at them. Well, you're now legally responsible for your actions. But it's kind of a little bit exciting because I actually have no idea. And
Isn't that funny? It's nice when you can see a clean slate coming.
Yes.
Most people fear it.
Yeah.
Most people go, shit, or they have no idea what's happening to
Yeah.
them and they just fall apart.
Yeah. Like I have no idea. I have
Yeah.
no idea because prior to the last 9 years where I've been fully focused on my kids, prior to that, my life was, growing old with Ben and watching the grandkids and having my family around me and all that. Well, that obviously ended 9 years ago. So then my full focus was on the kids. I really didn't, and I know I'm going to say I didn't put any thought into myself. That's not entirely what I mean by that. It was like what I need in the future, I'll worry about when I need to worry about that because currently I need to focus my energy on the kids. And I certainly never...
See, I would disagree with you there because I've watched you for the last 3 years. You have begun to give yourself love.
Yes.
You have begun to go and see things and do things that you want to do. You
Yep.
actually began to give yourself a little slice of that little income to yourself to actually begin to broaden and I guess have a look at who you are.
Little snippets.
Little
sneaky
and
peek.
You are ever the psychologist because each of your clients, you are constantly working out where you are and that's what I think you are so wise and so knowledgeable because you are not only helping them work through their stuff, you are also putting your own processes into perspective as you're helping them do theirs.
Yep.
So you've done your work like 20 times over because you're at a stage and you can even see that there's a transition coming up already in your life from you may not be an empty nester because they may keep staying.
Look, let's be real. The only one leaving that nest is probably me. To a studio apartment somewhere that's got no room for anybody. No, that's not true.
So
I'd be
you know
so
what I mean?
bored.
And the conversations that we'd had over the past 3 years was, what do you love? What are your interests? What do you think you would like to move into?
Yeah.
You know, those types of things. And, you know, you kept coming up that you would love to work with, believe it or not, teenagers.
I know.
But
Yeah, but
that's
they
your
won't be my
forte.
teenagers, so it's...
But you are incredibly like your intuition and you can read people. You read people exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So you're actually able to see the bullshit that you're being spun long before they even get in the door. 'cause
Even
you've
though,
already picked
you
up
know,
on it.
I'll let them think for a while that...
They're getting
that's the
away with
fun
it.
part.
It's almost
the
like...
fun
How
part.
big of a hole are they
Yeah,
going to dig?
exactly. All right, where's my
Yeah.
popcorn? Let's see how this plays out. I'm just, for shits and giggles, I want to see how far this is going to run. Well, you know, I had to keep myself entertained.
Yeah.
But yeah, and to me, it's almost like you've got some idea
Yeah.
of where you'd like to head, but you also still love your creative outlet
Yeah.
of hairdressing
Yeah.
and the psychology part to it. So you're sort of feeding yourself where you have been feeding yourself,
Yep.
doing what you do for a very long time.
I think the reason I asked though is because Mum and I have had, I think, a few small conversations on what she went through when she went through that empty nest phase when Chelsea finally was old enough. She had moved out and it was just her and Dad for a while. And we've spoken briefly on that, and that's normal.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wanted to know what that process looks like for you.
Yep.
With everything else attached to that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you when it happens. But, yeah, I mean, obviously I do kind of, as much as I go, oh my God, your kid's so exhausting. Like, you need to pull your finger out. You need to do more. You need to do this. This is no longer I'm the mum and you're the kids. This is a share house situation, which nobody listens to.
but that is because you haven't put your
Yeah,
boundaries.
that's exactly right. And
See the full
I
circle
in
when
the
you're
next
done.
breath go, you know what, that's just back on me, because I essentially did do, even though I didn't think I was doing too much, and I still don't think I ever did too much. But, yeah, and look, I don't believe any child gets parented the same way as the other.
Oh,
because essentially
They're
you're a different
individuals.
version of yourself and they're different. So that's just, it's unreasonable to say that you parented the same, because you just didn't. But what works for one, and, you know, what boundaries I needed to put in place for one, I could have put those same boundaries in place for the other, and it ain't happening. So, but
They would have laughed.
yeah, that's exactly right. I don't know, because at the end of the day, anything is, well, the possibilities are endless. Like, there is
I
absolutely
love that
no...
you can see that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I want to go back and just say, I think it's really, really fucking cool that you said that you're really excited for this new phase
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because I
Yeah.
know a lot of people find, well, who am I?
Yeah.
What am I doing with myself? That's scary for them.
Yeah. And look, maybe even 6 months ago, I was probably like, God, how am I here? What the hell? What am I doing?
You need a session.
Yeah, I did. But it was also still like, that was momentary. And then it was like, oh, you know, give yourself a good hard talking to, and, you know, you're healthy. You've got 4 amazing kids/adults. I mean, they'll always be my kids, but, you know, they are young adults who are essentially, like, I genuinely, look, there's moments that I don't like the behaviour, but I genuinely like them. And most other people that are around them like them too. So I think that's, I don't know if a lot of people...
Chick, you've done good.
Yeah.
You've done real good. Like, to be throwing the curveball that you got thrown, and to take it up and create the most amazing human beings who are thoughtful, who are generous, who are really, really good friends to other people as well. And, you know, they may, you know, come and go from your household. They are great kids. And, like, I always say your hubby would be absolutely gleaming,
Yeah.
down, going, well done.
Yeah.
And he's always there
Yeah, for
anyway.
sure.
He's always kicking
Yeah.
him up the ass and doing whatever he needs
Yes,
to do.
there's many a talking to I have to him. It's like seriously, mate, it's time to pull your weight. You need to step in now because I'm tired. My soul is tired. I need some assistance.
That's actually good because that leads to a question I wanted to ask.
Oh, good.
Of what, if anything, was your perspective on death before, and then did this experience change that in any way?
Good
Yeah,
question.
actually, I would easily have said prior that I would put myself in the category of I feared death for myself. I never even gave a thought that someone
Close
that it'd
to
be
you,
somebody
yeah.
else's
Yeah.
death. The minute I knew he'd passed, that fear just dissipated, and I was like, oh, well, he'll be there waiting. I don't need to be scared anymore.
Oh,
So it was
oh,
kind
that's
of
really nice.
yeah, and it certainly definitely changed my perspective in that I think as humans we want to obviously hold on to our loved ones for as long as possible, but it changed my view on, but is that for my benefit or for their benefit?
How do you see death? Do you see that what happens to us when we die?
Oh, I totally believe you come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just one of many lives that everybody lives. I think I always believed that. That was I never questioned that our soul just keeps returning and that we are definitely with the others, people in our lives potentially you've been with in past lives and will be in future lives and all that. I never questioned that. I don't ever remember not believing that throughout my entire life. It was just something that I wasn't taught it. It was just something that I believed. I think because I do always feel his presence. So it was kind of like, oh, he's always there.
Would you have said you were, and I say spiritual, I just say, spirituality to me is when you are fully connected to yourself, and then knowing that there is a higher being, source,
power,
energy,
whatever you want to call
play.
it. Yeah.
Would you say that you were spiritual before that?
Yeah, definitely. I never questioned that spirit was always around protecting and that everybody has someone and all that. Like that, and again, I don't ever remember questioning that, but I think more so since...
Yes.
So I do look at death differently because I don't necessarily have sadness attached to it because I don't, like I said earlier.
I reckon it's a remembering.
Yeah.
You get to a point in life where there's somewhere in you there is this acknowledgement of the knowing that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just...
You'll meet again.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah. And I truly believe that it comes down to perspective and how your belief system of what you believe to be true.
Yeah.
And coming back to do your own bloody research.
Yeah.
Quell your own fears about where you go and what happens to you after death. And then you won't fear that anymore. But most of us live our whole lives just trying to not think about
avoid it. Avoid any conversation, avoid anything. But the reality of it is we're all going there.
Yeah.
Like every single one of us. It's going to happen at some point.
But even if you come to the point where your truth is that it is kaput, there's nothing after it, then at least you've come to an understanding for yourself.
Yeah, correct.
And that is perfectly fine. That is good because then that will quell your fear and that's what you won't expect anything else.
Yeah. My perspective on losing your and someone in that situation where you've lost your partner. Now, I had my kids. That's what kept me going. But I fully understand now how someone who their partner is their sole source of life.
Is everything.
Out of your partner's the one person in life that you choose. Everybody else kind of filters in and out. Someone that you're choosing to share yourself with. So to have that no longer there, that's huge. There was probably a lot that wasn't spoken. There was a lot that was, look, being that he struggled with his mental health, so choices that he made certainly would not have been ones that him as his true self would have made without actually saying everything.
Yeah. But a lot of external influences.
Yes, there was a lot of, and at the end of the day, he was searching for pretty much probably anything that made him feel him.
Yeah, and I
Or,
can
you
completely
know, and it's-
understand that. Yeah.
And a lot of it, I can look back now, like I took that on as a personal reflection on me.
Yeah.
And our
As typical
look,
response of a partner.
I met him when I was 13. So we'd known each other for the majority of my life. I don't remember too much of a time where he wasn't in it. But I always knew that he was always, from the day I met him, I knew he was going to be a large part of my life. I didn't necessarily know in what context, but I knew he was someone that was going to be important to me. We were that fairy tale story. No matter, I don't think he could have ever done anything where I would have just gone, nah, it's over, because in some degrees to my detriment, because that also made me not have conversations because I didn't want to
know the truth.
No, I didn't.
No.
I really didn't.
And that is like, now you can understand that's okay.
Yeah.
But because that is as a survival mode technique we go into, because if you know, then
What do I do with that information
exactly
now?
right.
I do look back, and his family way is it happened and we never speak of it again.
Yeah. Brush it under the rug.
Oh, absolutely. And
The good old brush it under
let
the
that
carpet.
shit pile up.
Hey, we know our family does that.
there's skeletons.
And like really like that's not just an elephant in the room, it's a herd of elephants in the room. But I don't think he would have ever, like, there were times where I would ask the question and he'd essentially lie to my face, and I would sit there and go, he's going to take that shit to the grave. Because to actually accept and acknowledge the behaviours, or even though I could understand the whys, because I think I've always been that person. I've always been, I can break it down and understand why you made that choice.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, and it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't mean that
you're not excusing the behaviour in any way.
But I can understand why.
I think that's compassion.
Yeah, I
isn't
think
it?
so too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that through any of those that he could honestly take a look at, because I think he in himself could not truly, it's like he had completely broken himself into.
Yeah.
Almost living a double
This is what
life.
is expected of
Yeah.
me, and this is
I'm
the
on this
shell of what I
pedestal.
actually need to do.
That's exactly right.
To just keep
To
some sort
survive,
of a semblance of
yeah.
myself. Yeah. And that's a really, mental health wise, you find a lot of people are split because they want to be authentically themselves, but the expectation or the obligation or the expectation's huge. The expectation on someone to be all that and something can weigh really heavily on a human's psyche.
Because I do remember one comment and this is when he was in a really dark place. He said, I can't live up to the expectations of who you think I am. And I remember looking at him and thinking, mate, it's not my expectations that you're trying to live up to.
Yeah.
It's your own. Because quite frankly, I'll just be happy that you're happy. I don't care what you do. I don't care I do care what you do to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
But in the sense that if you're just living your authentic life and you're happy, then I'm happy. That's it.
Yeah. But we get weighed down with all this expectation and obligation. And 9 times out of 10, it's what we put on ourselves, not someone else.
Yep.
So it is what we do is that whole review that you've been there, you've done
Yeah.
that. So that whole review of looking at why we do the things we do
Yep.
and who we're actually doing it for, because whose life are you living? Are you living your life, or are you living up to the expectations of somebody else's? And that, when we get bogged down under all that expectation and obligation, it does become a struggle, because
Yeah.
I have been there and I have done that, and it's really hard. You really do step into that people pleasing where
Yep.
you are just so stretched, you're trying to please everybody else and you get no look in.
Yeah.
But it's the burden aspect as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
I think for me specifically, I didn't want to be a burden to my parents.
Yeah.
So it was, well, I'm going to, act like the perfect child, and I'm going to, be happy and be upbeat and sunshine, because I don't want you to feel like what's happening to me is anyone's fault. And then what went hand in hand with that was the stigma around mental health itself for people my age.
Yep.
There was a whole stigma in school that it was like a trend.
Yeah.
It was trendy.
I remember that. It was trendy.
to be self-harming and to have mental health issues. And honestly, that made it worse for me, because I'm like, well, no, like I'm actually, like
Really
I'm not
struggling.
okay.
I'm actually not okay.
Like I'm fucked up
Yeah.
right now. And there are people out here thinking it's a trend. And
Yeah.
having teachers come to you and be like, we get it, it's a trend, but it's not good to be doing these things. And I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to almost be pushed to the side and I guess disregarded in that way,
Yeah.
it was really hard. So then that made me bury it even more. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm fine then. I'm fine. If it's just
Yeah.
a trend,
I'll
I'm
just
fine.
put another mask on
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
please everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can only imagine
Oh,
where hubby
absolutely.
got to with all those masks and just trying to just keep up the appearance.
Yep.
It would have been really,
Yeah. And lots of things contributed to that. His family belief system, his own
Yeah.
belief system.
Yeah.
Who
the
he thought-
government belief system.
Absolutely,
of,
because I was going to say, being able to detach yourself. Well, he did that for a very long time. I mean, that's what they.
being a copper, the
Copper.
shit that
Absolutely.
they see
That's how
day
you
in, day out, like no human psyche should have to.
No.
They would see some of the most horrendous
Yes,
things in
and
life.
obviously that was definitely contributed to. That was at play prior to him leaving. The circumstances to which he left were out of his control and really nothing to do with him. But he was essentially the only one left standing, so he was
Yeah.
going to be the scapegoat regardless.
Yeah.
So, whereas he imagined his life getting his, gold watch at retirement with a big party, and that's not how it played out. And that was the beginning of
the end.
Yeah, I mean, it crushed him to his soul.
Yeah.
And as much as, look, he came back and he was extremely intelligent, but he still very much, because all he knew since he was 16 was being a policeman, and that's all he ever wanted to do since he was 4. He
Yeah.
couldn't imagine any version of himself that didn't include that. But he was a phenomenal father. So for me, I look at it and go, well, it actually gave you, I am
one
very
door
much a
closed
person
and another open.
Incredible
things,
skills to
yes.
pass on.
Yeah. And I'm very much and always have been a believer of shit happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And no matter how tragic and awful it may seem at the time, but there is always,
a lesson to learn from it.
you might not like
As
it.
shitty as that
Yeah.
sounds,
Yeah.
I agree.
Definitely.
It is. If you can change your perspective to it, the weight of it
Yes.
just dissipates incredibly, because
Yeah.
you're no longer seeing it as a problem, but you're actually seeing it as a lesson to mine and get something really good out
And
of
in
it.
saying that is probably one of the things that kept me going. Even though when he passed, it was literally my most feared nightmare
come true. Yeah.
come true. But there was still that belief that, well, there's a reason why whatever it is.
happened.
Might not be clear now.
Yeah.
And I'm still not entirely sure what it was.
But you have been able to put it into a lot better perspective
Yes.
than when it happened.
Yeah, for sure.
And process and
I
move
definitely
through it.
think for myself, and this may sound really selfish to a degree, but it certainly forced me to look at how I was living my life.
I
And
don't think that's selfish. I think that's incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing that reviewing, that is why you've been able to get to a wise, knowledgeable place
Yeah.
and understanding where you're not totally fucked up
Yeah.
in a basket case and addicted to all these drugs or whatever, and your kids are in,
oh no, I
you know,
can't
in
touch
the gutter.
anything because who knows where that would end up.
But do you know what I mean?
But it's also like you can't hear any resentment or anger towards your husband for
None.
what happened.
No.
Even the circumstances leading up to it, nothing. That's what that's given you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It certainly made me have a look. It was probably prior to his death. It's like, you know, when times were questionable, it was like, I don't deserve this. Why are you treating me
Yeah.
like that? It was me.
Yeah.
And as much as in my head, I'm like, I'm the least selfish person. But now I look back now and go, it wasn't about me at all. Like, it was so not,
Yeah.
I wasn't even in the story,
And
really.
that is really it. When someone's going through something, it's saying more about them than
Yeah,
it is saying about you.
absolutely.
But we take it on. It's our
Yeah.
suffering. It's all
Yeah.
about me. It's my,
Yeah.
you know, it's my fault. It's my whatever.
Yeah, but in reality, I can look back and go, I probably could have done things. It would never have changed the outcome.
No.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered what I did because whatever happened, and it was always going to
Yeah.
be that way. Like,
And I
that's-
don't want people to think that he, because I
No,
think,
oh yeah,
I think
no,
we're-
he didn't take his own life.
He didn't take his own life.
It was natural
actually-
causes.
Yeah.
Certainly, obviously, stresses and all that.
Yeah,
because
and
it
that's
was a
why
hard.
you talk about it the way
Yeah.
you do, because it was the stresses that led to the stress on his body.
Yes, absolutely. And health conditions and
Yeah.
all of those. Really, I still believe the stress and him not being able to
process his
process
emotions.
it. And well, he didn't have the tools
Yeah.
Yeah.
to process it.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. I have no doubt that if he had, everybody has access, but that doesn't mean that you're aware of what you have.
Correct.
No, definitely not.
Everybody has everything they need right in front of them. It doesn't mean that you're ready to see it or that you're ready to access it at the time.
I have had clients who have just outrightly pussyfooted around the subject, and you know what I'm like. I'm pretty direct and
Yeah.
forward, and but lovingly pull the thread. But I've had people who've just blatantly, they're just not ready to look at it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That is perfectly fine, so long as you're making baby steps towards somehow getting the help that you need
Yep.
to be able to finally look at it, because otherwise a life gets cut short.
Yep.
And I
And-
still say everything happens for a
Yeah,
reason.
same, because I was going to just about to say, and you know what? Some people just never will. For whatever reason,
Yep.
they're not ready. I still believe they're just not ready in this lifetime.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, that you believe whatever you want to believe,
Yeah.
that I find comfort in that.
Yeah.
Now, true, untrue, whatever, my belief is that we will keep returning and
Yep.
we will still be with our loved ones and
Until
all.
you learn the lesson.
Yep.
And on that note, I think that was the most enlightening, as per usual, conversation. Thank you for sharing your life with us, because
Yes.
it's been epic
Yep.
for you. And I think having somewhere where you can actually help other people by what you have endured
Yep.
and overcome in your life is really great for us to be able to, have you and host you, because you're amazing.
I miss you guys.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on the couch today. We see you, we hear you, and we love you. Until next time, beautiful people.